So I'm about to put the aluminum side panel on here. I've got the side all sealed with the varnish mix. As I've said before, I'm going to hold the panels on using the float method mainly, so it will just be held on by the trim on the edges, around the doors, by the hinges, that kind of thing. But I am going to use some sealant as well around the edges, around the doors, anywhere where there's an edge on the aluminum. I'm going to use the sealant. And the sealant that I'm going to use is this. This is some West Marine, a marine adhesive sealant. I think this is similar to 3M 4200, I think. It seems to be very similar ingredients, and they kind of advertise it that way. It's a little bit cheaper. I was able to get it on sale at West Marine. So I've got a couple of tubes of this. Hopefully that's going to work well. I'm really not depending on this to stick it down, but I just want it to help seal that edge to keep water from intruding in on the main faces here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going. Okay, I've got the sealant on. I'm going to go get my wife and we'll put this thing on. So I forgot to turn the camera back on when we put it up there, but we just lifted it up and pushed it into place. Okay, the next thing to do is to get this trim ready to go on the bottom. Now, for the trim, I'm going to be using this stuff, and this is called butyl caulk. It's a butyl tape, and I just stick that onto the trim. And then screw it down, and it kind of squeezes everywhere it needs to go. You can see it's stuck to the trim, and this stuff is pretty flexible and very, very sticky. Got a little prop back in the back to help me hold it. This stuff really wants to stick. So there's the strip all on, and I may come back and just put a dab of that sealant around each one of these screw heads after a while, but there's no real time limit on that butyl tape. It's not going to set up hard or anything like that, but I want to go ahead and get some of the other trim on first. Now for these, since I don't have a lot of clearance, I'm just going to put a bead of this. I'm also going to put a bead onto the trim itself. So I just put a bead right there in that corner, so that'll cover this edge here, hopefully. Getting squeezed up around the front of it, which means that it's getting that corner joint. I'll just keep on going until I get all the trim done.